Join me in Yorkshire in northern England, where I visit the picturesque village of Keld. I get lost when hiking in the Yorkshire Dales, and I finish the day at the highest pub in England. Keld is a tiny village in one of the more remote parts of the Yorkshire Dales. There are many walking trails in this area, as it's a key point on both the coast to coast and the Pennine Way routes. The name Keld comes from the Old Norse word kelda, meaning a spring or a well, and the area has a lot of waterfalls close by. And as there was a big lead mining industry in this area, you can still find abandoned old mines scattered across the hills. Good morning and welcome to another video. Today I'm in the Yorkshire Dales in the village of Keld. I'm going to start a walk from here into the hills, but I've just noticed there's a small heritage centre in the village, so I'm going to go there first, then I'm going to go for a walk, and then I'm going to go for lunch. The school was opened in the mid-19th century for local farming and mining families. When the mining industry declined, families moved away from this area and the school eventually closed in the 1970s. It was then restored and reopened as a resource centre, which hosts exhibitions and local events. So I'm just at the start of a hike. Should last a couple of hours into the hills. I'm hoping to pass a waterfall somewhere, but I'm not familiar with this area at all. This is the first time that I've been hiking in the Yorkshire Dales. The only other part of Yorkshire that I know well is Haworth, the village where the Bronte sisters are from, and that's a lot nearer home. It's only about 40 minutes, whereas to get here it's about an hour and a half. So I have another video on Haworth. I'll put a link to that in the description below this video. That's all about the village and where the Bronte sisters came from and their house. And then I go for a walk into the countryside to Bronte Falls and Top Withens. Top Withens is a ruined farmhouse which apparently was used as inspiration for one of the houses in their books. So I've got that on that video. But this area I don't know well at all. So there's no phone signal. Now I'm stuck already. So I'm not sure which path to go on. It's obviously not the way I came, so it's one of the other two. So there's no phone signal here, but luckily I downloaded a GPS map from home last night, so now I can find where to go. I've got to go down this path here. It looks quite steep going down, and then it goes up a bit and then a sharp drop down and then quite steep up before the end. So this is the waterfall I knew I was going to find today on this route. But this whole region has a lot of waterfalls, but I think this is the only one I'm going to see today, but it is a really nice one. So I just set my tripod up to take a picture of me in front of the waterfall, and those sheep behind me came and knocked over.
At this point, I started having problems where I crossed the river. I followed the river to where I was surrounded by big rocks. After climbing over some of them, I was stuck at a dead end and I couldn't see a way out beyond these rocks. I had to then decide whether to turn back or get trapped amongst more big rocks. As there was no phone signal, I had to just accept defeat and turn back, so I didn't reach the abandoned mine that I was going to.
So I'm on my way back to the car now. I've got a couple of kilometres to go on this road. Sadly, I have to say this was a hike and fail. At least I've had nice scenery, I've had a good walk, but I didn't get to the place I was trying to get to, which was one of the abandoned mines up in the hills here. I came to a dead end and it was full of rocks, having to climb over rocks, across a river. There was another couple with me with a dog. I'm glad they stayed with me because I went a bit further because they were there. If I'd been on my own, I would have turned back sooner. The problem is there's no phone signal, and I downloaded the GPS map last night, so I had that. But I find when I'm in areas where there's no phone signal, the GPS isn't always exact. It's always just a little bit off. The same if I'm surrounded by trees or whatever. So this has only happened to me once before. And I had to turn back and give up because I had no phone signal, so I can't search for an alternative route if I come to a dead end and I can't be sure that the GPS is exactly right. I don't think it was. I think it was a little bit off. And because it's the first time I've been to the area, I don't know the area, so I wouldn't know where else to try. So now I'm just going to go and get a drink somewhere.
Once I got home with internet access, I checked the route again and something had gone wrong after turning left at the part here circled in yellow. If I'd had a signal on the day, I could have turned back or taken the other path. And if I'd taken the other path, I would have seen Crackpot Hall quite quickly, which is number 8 on the map. Unfortunately, the GPS download I had only showed a blue line to follow, but with no landmarks on it. When I got back to the village, I was very happy to see that the cafe at the campsite was open so that I could get a drink and a snack straight away.
So about 4 miles outside the village of Keld, where I was today, I've come to the highest pub in England. In fact, I think it's the highest in the UK. 1,700 feet, about 520 metres above sea level. I'll put the exact figure on the video. But this is the Tarnhill Inn. I'm just going to stop here for a drink before I drive home. It's very old, apparently. I think it's 17th century. There's a band on tonight, and as you can see, looking at the car park, it's very popular, even though it's in the middle of nowhere. Missed the food, unfortunately, because I wanted to come for lunch, but that finishes at 4:30 because of the hiking fail. The hiking took longer than I thought, and I didn't get here in time, so I'm just going to stop for a drink before I go home. So I've got a cold soft drink now, which is well deserved, I think, after today, after being lost for so long in those hills. I did actually download the GPS route last night from Komoot, from the Komoot app. So I think what's happened is I was trying to get to Swinnergill Lead Mines, it was called, and near to it is another ruined farmhouse called Crackpot Hall. I didn't find that either. So I've gone wrong somewhere. And like I say, I think it's just because there was no signal. I think the GPS was a bit off, and there's not much I can do about it, really. I mean, the people who were with me didn't have a signal either. I have a second phone as well that had no signal either. But if you know how to get to a Swinnergill lead mine, if you have any idea where I went wrong from the village of Keld, if you can let me know in the comments or give me some hints in case I do decide to go back. I don't want to get lost again, though, and I don't want to get stuck at the bit where it's all these rocks and you have to climb over them. I don't like doing things like that. It's too hard for me. But if you can recommend any other hikes I could do in the Yorkshire Dales that aren't quite so difficult, ones that are more straightforward with a good path, where I'm not likely to get lost, then let me know in the comments. I'm interested to know. In spite of that, I still had a nice day. The village of Keld was very nice. I got to see the little museum. The weather's been good. It was a good alternative to the lakes because the lakes was raining today. The lakes is nearer for me to get to, but it was just the rain that changed my mind about going today. And I've come to this pub, the highest pub in the UK, to finish the day off. So all in all, it has still been a good day. So I hope you still like the video, and if you did, please leave me a comment, and if you can suggest any other hikes in this area for me, then let me know in the comments too. And I'll see you on the next video, which will be Scotland. I'm back in Scotland next week, back up to the islands, so I'm going to have a few videos on that. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.